3. Yeah, it started. Got Tennessee Titans. Going down for 29. They're on 3. They lost again to the Packers. Malik Willis gets revenge game. Malik Willis looked good. Levis still has been some struggles. Yeah, like if the Panthers still lost, I would still have them 32. Like I don't think it's just the two teams at the bottom last couple of weeks ended up winning. So I ended up moving up a little bit. So that's partially it. But even then, I still think the Titans are not a good team. They have a good defense, but they once again, Dirk Stearns says you can't run on us. You know what they do? Packers do run on them, and they won at that. So just yeah. Number 31, I got the Carolina Panthers. They're 1-2. They just beat the Raiders. They're 32 last week. I'm with the one spot that they won. That's literally it. It's just I just think some of the things where going to new quarterback, your team gets show some flashes. They maybe get 1 or 2. I just don't think nobody could sit basis. I don't think Andy Dalton's a good enough quarterback at this point in his career. Throw 3 touchdowns every week because their defense is not that good. They just lost Emmett Thielen for 4 more weeks with bad hamstring injury because he's going on into reserve. So yeah, it's like this team is just not good. They lost one of their best players, Derek Brown, week 1. Now they're down Thielen for about 4 more weeks at least. Yeah. Now they face the Bengals, Andy Dalton's old team. See how they do. Bengals are 0-3. So I'm sure if the Panthers can beat the Bengals, it's not for sure over, but Bengals playoff chances are pretty much over at that point. You can't start off 0-4 and expect to make the playoffs. Even if you somehow do, you're not going to have a good seeding. You're not going to win your division. You're not be probably the 7th seed at most 6th seed unless the AFC North just falls apart, which I don't think they will. So yeah, I'll talk about more about the Bengals later. Sorry, it's just that's who they play this week, so I kind of want to talk about it a little bit. I think the Bengals will be going off for a little bit of revenge. So yeah, number 30, get the New York Giants. They're 1-2, moving up from 31 last week. They won as well. Malik Neighbors looked great. He did awesome. If they're gonna win some more games this year, you know how to win them? Throwing it to Malik Neighbors a lot. That's it. They beat the Browns. The Browns, their offense looks bad. Even when for Browns, even when Watson looks alright, their whole line falls apart. It's just something always happened to the Browns this year so far. But yeah, don't to McLevers, and you have a chance of winning. Because he did not have really anything else in offense. Your run game doesn't look good. Jones is not looking good. You don't have much at wide receiver other than Malik Neighbors, obviously. But still, so yeah. Number 29, I got Las Vegas Raiders. They're 1-2, moving down for 26. They just lost to the Panthers. Yeah, they lost a bad team, but it's also I still think the 3 teams behind them are worse. None of these teams are that good. It's just I think the Raiders have a little more highline talent. We'll see how much longer it all stays around because the Adams does not seem very happy, but they still got some good players. I just partially just because I don't think these teams behind them have that good, all those good players. Raiders have some, but still they still lost. So I assume move them down. Number 28, I got the New England Patriots. They're 1-2 when they're down for 27. Get beat badly by the Jets this week, but hey, Jets have a good D. They're showing it after week 1 blowout by the Niners. Jets are a good team. It's just they still got blown out. Just because it's really tough between them and the Raiders. I just kept the Patriots a little higher, just because Patriots have been relatively close except for this last week in their previous loss against Seahawks versus the Raiders. They just lost to a really bad team in the Panthers. So that's partially why the Patriots over them. But it's close between those two. So yeah. Number 27, I got another team getting a win. The Denver Broncos. Now 1-2. They were 30 last week. They got a win. They beat the Buccaneers by push Sean Payton there just because it seems like Sean Payton, whenever he sees his team's playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he's like, oh, let's do great this week. Let's beat them. Seems like he always beats the Buccaneers. Even if their team is not that, even if the team's worse than the Buccaneers, Buccaneers should have won that game. They had a chance to go 3-0. They just beat the Lions the previous week. So yeah, I got the Broncos. They got the first win. But next is looking a little better. So yeah, number 26. I got the Miami Dolphins. They're 1-2. They're moving down from 23. Just got beat bad by the Seahawks. Now, Tua's obviously down for a while. Skylar Thompson. We'll see what happens with him, but he also went down with injury. So yeah, they might be down to their third stringer. It's just, I just think they have better talent than the Broncos, even if their quarterback isn't as good. But I just don't think Broncos are that good of a team. Versus, I think the Dolphins, like if they can have a stable quarterback for a whole game, they can be all right. It's just they haven't had that these past 2 weeks. Sue got injured week 2. Then Thompson got injured this last week. So we'll see what happens there. I think the Dolphins are a more talented team than the Broncos. But the Dolphins are not looking good. Like Tyreek Hill barely did a thing. Like, hey, you want to stop Tyreek Hill? Just give him no quarterback to throw it to him. So we'll see if the Dolphins end up bringing in a new quarterback soon. If they do bring it due this week, I think probably won't be starting. Whoever they do starts this week just because it's kind of late for them to learn the playbook in time to play. But if more injury happens, which is very well good with all the injuries they have a quarterback, he will probably be their backup. But still, if they do bring somebody, I don't think he'll be starting this week. Probably at best next week. We'll see what they do there. So let's go to the next slide. I got 25 through 16. 25, I got Chicago Bears. They're 1-2. Kept them 25 from last week. They lost, but Caleb Williams had a good game. He had 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 picks, but he still had 2 touchdowns. He threw his first 2 touchdowns of his career. Good for him. It's just, I think they good enough to not move down any, but I don't think just because they still lost, I don't think they deserve to move up, seriously, because Colts are struggling. So yeah, but hey, good on Caleb Williams. It's like he's like just because their offense started to look better, that's why I didn't move him down, and also just because the Dolphins are looking bad with these quarterback injuries they're having. So yeah, number 24, I got Jacksonville Jaguars. They're 0-3 now. They were 21 last week. They're moving them down further. It's just I think they can do better. It's just they just got blown out by the Bills. Like I think it was like 30-something to 3 at halftime. I could be. I know. Fast goes 47-10. Yeah, it was not close. So let's see the box score. So yeah, it was 34-3 at half. like they literally just got destroyed by the Bills. So yeah, they're not looking good. Hopefully they can turn around this week. They face who do they face? Face the Texans. See how they do. I'm sure the Texans will want some good comeback game after this game blown out by the Vikings. So let's see how it goes. 2 teams just got blown out. So yeah, but Jaguars very easily could be 0-4. And yeah. So yeah. Number 23, like the Cleveland Browns, they're 1-2, moving down from 18. Really the only reason they're ahead of the Jaguars is just because they lost to the Giants this week, but they actually have a win. That's a lot more than Jaguars can say right now. And yeah, like it's just tough. They're just not looking good, and now they have another O-line injury with Wyatt Teller out for a little bit. It's just the offense is looking terrible. I think at this point, you might as well go to Jameis Winston and see what happens because Sean Watson is not going to be your guy. So yeah. Then number 22, I got the Arizona Cardinals. They're 1-2 now. They've been there from 20. They lost. Who did they lose to? I'm sorry. I'm blanking on some of these teams' losses this week. I just am blanking. So they lost the Lions, a good team. But then the previous week they blew out the Rams, who just beat the Niners. So it's like, yeah, that's why they moved down too far. And they barely lost to the Bills week 1. The good team that just blew out, that's doing really good so far. So like the Cardinals are only 1-2, but they've looked, their 2 losses aren't blowouts or anything. They're against 2 good teams. and they were relatively close. It's just their defense is terrible, so their offense needs to do great every game if they want to win most weeks. So yeah, number 21 got the LA Chargers. They're 2-1 now, moving down from 19. They lost to the Steelers. It's like Steelers pretty much do same as the Chargers do. It's just Steelers are a little better. Steelers just have a little better D. They so yeah, like I just like and then Chargers like they had a quarterback management, and then Herbert got injured. So it's like then they did it. So yeah, but Chargers, hey, they're still 2-1. They just lost. I'm just not that high on them. So yeah, number 20. I got the Indianapolis Colts. They're 1-2, moving up from 22 this last week. Finally got their first win. Their run defense it looked a little better. They still had the respect medal, and they did get 2 picks. They also gave up first 2 career touchdowns to Caleb Williams. So see there, but they still won. Bears do have a good D. Their offense has some struggles, but the Bears still have a good defense. So yeah, they got their first win of the season. So good on them. Number 19, we got a big riser. I got the Washington Commanders. They're 2-1 now. Big surprise there. I put them up 28. They just beat the Bengals, who are still struggling. But yeah, like they're looking good. Jayden Daniels looked really good. Like that final touchdown pass of his to Terry McLaurin, that was a great pass right into the bucket, and he got him the touchdown. Good for him. Like Daniels is looking like he's could be the real deal. It's like we'll see. Maybe the Commanders are like the Texans last year. We'll see. It's a little early to say for sure because the one win against the Giants, a bad team, but they just beat a team that's supposed to be good in the Bengals, and they finally got T. Higgins back. But yeah, like even once, like even it was just never close. It's like the instant the Bengals got closer, the Commanders just went down and scored. So yeah, number 18, we got the team they beat, the Cincinnati Bengals. They're on 3 now, but they're down from 15. Consider like I just didn't want to move the Commanders that high up. That's why they're not ahead of the Bengals. Like if I had a little higher last week, I probably would just because they just beat them. But it's just like moving from 28 to 19 is already far, but moving 28 to 18 is also pretty good far. Because they do have 2 wins, but still, hey, like Bengals lose again and the Commanders win, they'll blew up in front of them. Just yeah, but hey, the Commanders, Bengals are struggling. Like their defense, went from holding Mahomes not much to giving up a ton to Jayden Daniels. Like Cam Taylor Britt trash talked Jayden Daniels, like saying he barely like does the playbook or like he does has a very limited playbook. Then he torched him. So like maybe don't do that, or if you do, hold up your trash talking and actually win. Which is the opposite of what he did. So yeah, number 17, Atlanta Falcons. They're 1-2, one down from 16 last week. Yeah, they lost, but they've had a pretty tough schedule so far. Like week 1, they just lost to the Chiefs. They beat the Eagles. They lost to Steelers week 1. Like 2 losses. The 2 losses are 3-0 teams. And if the yes, Chiefs are not been the greatest 3-0 team this year, but they're still 3-0. So there's a 3-0 as well. They beat a good team, the Eagles. So I didn't move down too far. Hey, if they call that DPI against the guy covering Kyle Pitts at the end there, they probably win. But yeah, it's just tough. They look good enough for me not to move them down too far. So yeah, number 16, I got the LA Rams. They're 1-2 now. They're 24 last week. Like I moved them down last week a lot just because I thought they would start struggling now with all their injuries, especially facing a good team, the Niners. The opposite happened. Like they were down a lot, but then they came back and beat a good team, the Niners. Yes, the Niners are really injured, but so are the Rams. I like the Rams are a healthy team. So yeah, good one in the Rams. Just I moved up a little far too fast just because all the injuries. But hey, they proved me wrong. They proved that they can still compete and beat a good team. And the Niners just sucks they're injured. Like imagine if they could stay healthy and have all these guys. Like they could have Puka Nacua, they could have Cooper Kupp. But hey, they need to help that secondary. That secondary, like no offense to John, he's a good receiver, but he should not be torching you that badly. Seriously, like they didn't have Debo, they didn't have Kittle, they didn't have McCaffrey, obviously, but then they got torched by John Jennings and barely won. But hey, Brock Purdy, he's a good quarterback without a ton of good weapons. So yeah, that's it for the side. Let's go to the next side. Now we get 15 through 6. 15, the Dallas Cowboys. They're 1-2, win the round 12. Lost the Ravens. Start of the game, it looked like it was going to be a blowout and, get destroyed by the Ravens. But then the Ravens pulled what they seem like they're always doing lately and almost blowing a double lead. Like the Ravens did it week 2, and they almost did it again. But they still lost. But like it could have been a lot further. Like they're off. They were struggling in the first half. I'm like, yeah, so bad. I'm like, oh, this game's pretty much over. I might as well go do something else or watch something else. Like, what's the point? Like the Cowboys are gonna blow them out. Then I'll see the score later. I'm like, oh shoot, the Cowboys almost beat the Ravens. Like, yeah, the Ravens hit that beat blowing out the Cowboys. I moved up the Ravens more, and the Cowboys down a little more. But then the Cowboys almost won. So yeah, they still lost. Number 14, I got the New York Jets. They're 2-1 now, moving up at 17. They're looking good. They beat the Patriots. Not a very good team, but they still won. And that's why I'm moving them up. They're good on the Jets. Like their defense is starting to look a little better. They did terrible week 1, so it's just like for me to start believing them. And again, I think they have to be able to beat a good team. So we'll see. We'll see. Do they play the Bills or anything? So I don't think they'll be able to beat the Bills. But like if they can beat the Bills when they face them, there's your change. Or the Vikings too. Next they face the Vikings October 6th in London. So yeah, looks like they don't play it. Yeah, they don't face the Bills for a few weeks. Because this week they play the Broncos. There should be a win there. So yeah, hey, they got one. Good on them. Number 13, got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 2-1 now, winning round 6. Big ups, probably the biggest upset of this week. It's like I think a lot of people thought like maybe the Vikings would compete with the Texans, but not, and could potentially win. Not blow them out, obviously, but that's not really a huge upset. But so yeah, I think like the Buccaneers and Broncos, that's a big upset. Team that just beat the Lions with pretty much all the same guys out. Now they we're a lot worse team in the Broncos. So like, let's see. Seems like Sean Payton just always beats the Bucs in the regular season, though. So yeah, number 12, I got the Baltimore Ravens. They're 1-2 now. Moved them up from 14. They beat the Cowboys, like I was talking about earlier. That they can finally, if they can learn to cut late leads, this team's gonna be good. Just can they do that? Like if they did against the Raiders, they would be 2-1 right now. They'll be looking a lot better. It's like 1-2 is not terrible, but it's also not great. Like you do not want to be like if you want to be a playoff contender or competing for number 1 seed in your conference, you do not want to be 1-2 because it's gonna be tough to be competing for top conference, especially since the Chiefs have the tiebreaker over you now since they beat you. So you don't have to have a game a better record by them by 1 game. So yeah, number 11, got the New Orleans Saints. They're 2-1. They finally lost. It was only a matter of time before they didn't score 40 points again. But I like those first 2 weeks helped them. Like because we not move out too far. They barely lost to the Eagles this week. Good team there. So yeah, like it's no surprise they didn't score 40 points again. Like you can only do that so many games in a row start the season. But yeah. Number 10, I got the Houston Texans. They're 2-1. Excuse me, sorry. I moved them down from 3 from last week. They got blown out badly by the Vikings, which is why I'm moving them down. So yeah, but hey, like they're still 2-1. Just that's a tough loss. If you bounce back and beat the Jags bad this week, you're pretty much knocking out the Jags and pretty much out by or at least division contention, and now you're looking even better. So yeah, go on Texans. So yeah, we'll see what they do this week. Number 9, I got the San Francisco 49ers. They're 1-2. They're down from 4. The losses are injury-riddled Rams, but they also have a lot of injuries. So yeah, it's tough. But yeah, like hopefully Deebo will be back this week. Hopefully Kittle can get back. But they just lost Devon Hargrave for the season on defense. So we'll see what happens there. They still have some injuries. Obviously, they don't have McCaffrey for a couple more games. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Number 8, I got the Seattle Seahawks. They're 3-0. Moved them up from 11 last week. They beat. Why am I blanking on who the Seahawks beat? Dolphins. They blew out the Dolphin. The quarterbackless might as well be quarterbackless Dolphins. Good one on them. Partially just moved them up because Niners and Texans struggled this week, and they're just Hey, good on that Seahawks. They got a big win. Good for them. Number 7, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're also 3-0, moving up from 13 last week. And then their defense is looking good. Fields keeps on doing better. Like as he gets more time as like the starter, he's doing better. Hopefully, he can keep this up and be your franchise quarterback. So yeah, good for him. Keep it up, Fields. So yeah, number 6, I got the Green Bay Packers. They're 2-1, moving up from 7. We'll see how they do this week. They got a big division rival game against the Vikings, 2 top teams in the league. And like we'll see if Jordan Love plays. But hey, good on Matt LaFleur. Like he's done really good like these past 2 weeks, building a good game plan around Malik Willis. And without Love getting them 2 wins, like that's huge. Like if they lose those 2 games without Love, they have pretty much have to rush back Love this weekend if they don't think he's ready because you can't be 0-4. Like you just can't. It's like you can't afford to do that. Instead, they win their 2 games without him, and obviously they'd love to have him back if they can, especially against a good team, the Vikings, division rival. But now you know you can win without him. So yeah, we'll see. But good on Matt LaFleur. He's a good head coach. That's it for this. Let's go to top 5. Number 5, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 2-1, moving up from 8. Beat the Saints, a team that did really good the first 2 weeks. Hopefully they get AJ Brown this upcoming week. Their offense should look better with the AJ Brown back. You can just notice the big difference when they don't have him. So we'll see there. Eagles are still a good team. So we'll see. Yeah. Number 4, I got the Detroit Lions. They're 2-1, moving back up from 5. They lost last week to the Buccaneers, and they bounced back and beat the Cardinals, who are a very good team. It's just really just because they thought Niners and Texans moved down far. That's partially why they moved up one spot. They back up one spot, and they obviously just won. Back in the Lions, they won. So yeah, number 3, got the other NFC North team, the Minnesota Vikings, 3-0, moving off 10. They blew out a good team of the Texans. Like week 1, they destroyed the Giants. They're not that good. Week 2, they beat the Niners. Yes, they have some injuries, but the Niners are still a good team. Like for most of the game, they had Debo, they had Kittle for part of the game. So we'll see there. Don't forget to mention Niners. What's going on with Brandon Ayuk? Like he has done nothing this year since he got his extension. I don't know if it's just because he held out so long that he's now back in full shape. So we'll see there. Number 2, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 3-0. I moved them down from 1. Like, I was trying to hold out just because they were defending Super Bowl champs till they lost. I just can't with how good the Bills are looking and how barely the Chiefs are winning. Like, they are not looking like a good 3-0 team. Just because they are the reigning Super Bowl champs, I didn't move them down too far. But if the Chiefs look bad again and the Vikings do beat the Packers, the Vikings probably be number 2, depending on what the Bills do. So, yeah. Who do the Bills play this week? Should the Bills play the Ravens? That should be a good one. Bills got a tough upcoming schedule. Like the Bills, they face the Ravens, the Texans, then the Jets. That's a really tough schedule. We'll see how they do. Like if they can win like at least 2 of those games, they're no prove they can be really good. It's just gonna be really tough to win all 3 of those games, especially if the Ravens knowing they need to win again. They had Bills. They blew out the Jags this week. Last week they blew out the Dolphins. Tua got injured in that game, yes, but for most of that game, Tua did the Bills were blowing out the Dolphins even before Tua went down. Yeah, Bills are looking pretty good. Like it's just funny now that Josh Allen, I've seen memes going around like Josh Allen. Who do you think? What offense do you think's better? Former All Pro receiver, guy who's led the league in receiving yards before and Diggs, or guy or Josh Allen friends. Apparently, it's Josh Allen friends offense. But hey, good on them. Bills are looking good. Like they've blown out 2 teams so far. Just I don't think he would if anybody I don't think it'd be like a giant surprise if they started at 3-0 this year. I think it'd be kind of surprised because they did face have to face the Dolphins and Jags. A lot of people thought it would be good this year. But like I don't think anybody would predict that their toughest games so far, their first 3 games, will be the Cardinals out of those 3 teams. Like they built the Dolphins and Jags, but barely beat the Cardinals. Just like that's just funny. Maybe that's like good sign for the Cardinals, or maybe just week 1 struggles. Some teams do struggle week 1. But yeah, that's it for these power rankings. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good one.